Welcome to the Expert Edge. This is a podcast where we interview experts in their fields and ask them questions. Today we have Mr. Lars Husebo.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, to begin, what is your occupation?
well, I'm a intellectual property attorney for a chemical company. That's what I do.
So you were a chemist before a patent attorney. Could you share what led you to become a patent attorney?
Sure. So like you said, I was actually in grad school studying chemistry, getting a PhD in chemistry, and I spent all day in lab, and I was kind of getting a little bit bored of that.
Yeah.
So, and I felt like I probably wasn't thinking of having a whole future life just doing chemistry in the future. And I was listening a lot to radio and news radio and stuff like that, NPR, and just hearing about different things in the United States about criminal law and how it's different from state to state and stuff like that. So I was just interested in learning about law. And then one day we had a seminar for grad students at the school that I was at, and they had a patent attorney who came and talked about being a patent lawyer and talked about going to law school as an alternate career for people who are getting PhDs in chemistry. So I was like, hey, I could probably go to law school and learn about law and then do patent law or intellectual property in general and do that. And I could kind of combine the two worlds, and here I am.
So yeah, you prefer this job more than the chemistry, would you say?
I think so. Yeah, I like law and dealing with legal issues. Probably more than I would have liked being in the lab. Yeah.
So what would you say is like the most rewarding thing about being a patent lawyer?
Well, I get to learn about a lot of inventions without having to be the one who makes the inventions and has to have the brain to come up with it. So I get to work with inventors who are brilliant and really know their stuff, and they're very focused on their area of research, and they have a passion for it. At least the ones I've been working with, and it shows. And then you basically take their ideas and you convert it into a bunch of legalese and put it in a patent application, for example. I think that's very rewarding. Yeah.
Do you have any particularly memorable cases in which you were assigned?
Oh, memorable. No.
Well, so yeah,
So like it's intellectual property, right? So you're dealing with ideas and inventions of that. There are a lot of cool inventions, I guess, out there, and that I've worked on. So that way, yeah, I've worked on particle accelerators and applying that to medical field. That's it's interesting doing that, right? You're at this lab where they have these huge particle accelerators, and they have and then they try to apply it into the medical field. So that's just seeing how they can do that is kind of cool.
wow.
But it's not like I saved someone from at the last minute, and they got a reprieve from the governor from being executed, and then they were found innocent. I don't do that, right? It's like it's not the same thing. It's like, yeah, I filed a patent application. Yay!
Yeah.
It's a very different world.
Have you met like any famous people or any well-known names? I mean, sure.
Ah.
Are you allowed to name? Like, do you have any confidential areas?
No, not really that famous people. No, not really. Not that I can remember. No.
Too many, right?
Yeah, no. Yeah,
Too many famous people.
Yeah, I've been working mostly for companies and labs like that, so it's not too many like famous stuff. I guess we yeah.
So, what is the day in the life of a patent attorney? Like, what do you commonly do?
Typical life of a patent attorney. I guess it's kind of boring. It's mundane, but no, I guess not. No. Yeah. So in general, for a patent, it depends on what kind of patent attorney you are. If you're in a law firm or if you work for a company itself, it can be different. I started out in a law firm. There, it's basically you're drafting patent applications. You're working with on communicating with the patent office on applications that you filed, stuff like that. And if you're lucky, you'll talk to some inventors and maybe have face-to-face meetings with inventors or calls, stuff like that.
That doesn't sound that boring.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. And then you have to just write, and you have to spend a lot of time in front of a computer writing and taking the ideas and converting them into paper and into a form that is fairly legalese. And you have to be careful with each word you choose because eventually, this is going to be a patent that might be enforced against someone, right? So when that happens, then every word counts and every word gets scrutinized. And so you kind of have to be careful about how you word things.
Have you ever had any mess ups or like loopholes anyone's abused?
Ooh, I probably have, but I wouldn't want to talk too much about that.
All right.
Yeah.
But nothing major. I don't think so. I've seen mistakes happen that have caused, not to be able to get a patent on certain things. Wasn't my fault though. I don't think. But that's the one of the good things, I guess, about being intellectual property is that you're not dealing with people's lives. You're dealing with inventions, and most of the things that we do wrong is to some extent fixable, right? So if you miss a deadline in many cases, you can fix it by extending deadlines and paying a fee. But of course, there comes a deadline that you can't do that. But yeah, it's not. Yeah, again, it's not like someone's life is hanging in the line.
One more question. Just on this note, what advice would you give to anyone wanting to have a career in this field? Like, just like starting out, like.
So yeah. So in general, like for intellectual property, right? So there are one of the main parts of intellectual property, or a huge part of it, is patents, right? Is patent law. So being able to be able to actually practice in front of the patent office and write patent applications and prosecute patent applications with the patent office, you need to have a science background. So you need to have at least a bachelor's or something like that in the sciences. So if that's something you really wanted to do, that you'd have to study science at one point in your life, at least. And then if you want to be a lawyer, you'd have to go to law school. So then once you then become a lawyer, you can also take something called the patent bar, where you can then, that gives you the right to practice in front of the patent office. And of course, if you want to be a patent lawyer, you have to take the law bar. So those are two bars you'd have to do. It's a good life. So yeah, I could. Yeah.
Okay. In your opinion, what sets apart successful patent attorneys from others in the field?
Ah, I think people are able to communicate well, always do better, and people who can talk to many different kinds of people. So you need to be able to communicate well with inventors, understand inventions, and you need to be able to translate what they're saying basically into a legalese form and into a different kind of audience than the inventors themselves. Um, so yeah, it's all about communication and working with people. So I think that's fairly important. You need to be able to concentrate on the subject and kind of learning new things fairly quickly because you're getting exposed to technologies and research that you may not know that much about. And so you just have to take your general knowledge that you have and kind of apply it in new fields. So being able to do that as well, that will really make you a better patent attorney. And having good writing skills is very important too, because that's everything you do is put into writing.
So, as a patent attorney, do you sort of like choose who you work for, or how does that work? Like, are you currently working for a company or?
Right. Yeah. So of course you can always choose who you work for. Hopefully you'll have a lot of choices when you come out. It's like any other kind of job. You'll have to apply for them and see if they want to hire you or not. So there, in patent law, I guess there are two major routes you can go. Is you can either work for a law firm and gain experience in a law firm, and they'll train you a lot and help you get your feet on the ground. And you can stay in a law firm and you eventually become a partner of a law firm or move up in the law firm and get more exposure to different kinds of clients and all that stuff. This was another route that I did is basically what they call going in-house. Is basically then working for a company directly. So you're an attorney inside a company and you handle probably usually different kinds of matters than you do for a law firm. You are more integrated with the researchers and the R&D departments. You may also do more than just write patent applications. For example, now I don't write any patent applications anymore. I handle other aspects of intellectual property. So I do a lot of agreement work and that kinds of stuff instead now.
So are you like a company's, like, do you have like coworkers, or are you like the company's single patent lawyer?
Oh no, we have the company I work for, we have several patent attorneys and intellectual property attorneys, and so we divide up by technology area.
Oh, do you work from home?
No. So we basically so we divide up the work that we have by technology area. So I have certain technology or R&D people that I handle their intellectual property. So I kind of handle all their IP stuff. So that'll be overseeing the patent portfolio and the new inventions that come in and helping develop plans for the intellectual property, and then also handling all the agreements that go around the intellectual property for the technology line. So and then we work with the other attorneys too at the company too that also do other kinds of work as well.
So you'd say that patent attorneys play like a really big role in the company's purchase in the company.
Well, yeah, I would say in ours it does, right? So it depends on the company, right? So not all companies actually need any kind of patent attorneys because they're really not inventing anything or anything like that. So they wouldn't need that. So, but in a company that they need to be on the cutting edge of the products, if they need to develop, they need to keep developing. Any company that has any kind of products that are selling products that are going to consumers or to industry, you want to be better than the competitors, and you do that by doing research. And when you do research, you want to protect the research, and you do that by filing patent applications. And so, so that way, I'd say we're important. Are we more important than other attorneys in the company? It all depends. Right? We think so, but but then again, you also need the attorneys who can help with the sales contract, because if you're not selling anything, and you have crappy contracts, and you're not, you have bad terms on your sales, and you can't collect money or something like that, you need all the attorneys to help out with that, right? So if you don't sell anything, there's no money. So You need all kinds.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, what is a? So, can you just like re-say, like, if you had to explain like your entire job, just every single aspect, dumbed down to like a little toddler, and like,
Ah, my job. Okay. To a little toddler. Huh. Well, okay. Yeah. Oh, sure. I do suggest heavy editing here. No, just kidding. No. So I take, we have inventors and they come up with great new ideas on how to make things or a new invention, right? So, for example, for a little toddler, they have their little, I'm sure they're glued to their iPad. So, hey, if there's a new feature on that iPad, well, your friendly patent attorney will write about that iPad and make sure that no one else can make an iPad like that except for Apple.
and if you had to, sorry,
Yeah, sure.
if you had to say like describe your job in one word,
One word.
what word would you use?
Patent.
One word.
Maybe not describing what you feel towards your job.
Despair. No, that's so, interesting. I think it's interesting. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting job because you get exposed to different news, cool stuff, and yeah.
So you're working for a company right now, right?
Yes, I work. Yeah, I work for a chemical company.
Chemical company.
Yes.
What company is this?
What?
What company?
Oh, Chevron Phillips Chemical Company.
Really?
Chevron Phillips.
Chevron Phillips.
Chevron
Yes.
Phillips.
It's a joint venture between Chevron and Phillips.
Ah.
Yes. So Chevron and Phillips 66.
So yeah, what are you working on right now?
Right now, we're working on something really top secret, and it's going to revolutionize everything. We really can't tell anyone.
Really?
Yeah, it's basically a new kind of.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Well, no. So what I work on is that is not a secret at all. Basically. So I work with lubricants, things that go into lubricants, and also I work on our specialty chemicals. So that would be a lot of sulfur compounds. Our work on anything that has to do with sulfur, smelly stuff. I help with the agreements for gas odorants and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's very.
So are you like patenting like the chemical compounds of this, or like no one else can use these compounds, only our company, you have to buy from us?
Yes. Well, yes.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's the goal. It's so what you can patent is you can patent if you make a new chemical compound, you can get that compound. You can get claims to that. You can also claim how you make it. You can claim how you use it and stuff like that. So that's the goal. You also have processes of making and process improvements, and there's all kinds of things that you can patent around it.
You can patent the processes?
Yes, for making things, yeah.
Wow, I didn't know.
Yeah.
So, do all of your colleagues have a background in chemistry too, or is it just an advantage when you're working for a chemical company?
Yeah, for a chemical company, yeah. So for a chemical company, you probably would want someone who has a chemical background. So either like chemistry or chemical engineering. We have people who do chemical engineering, chemistry people, yeah. So in the IP world, at least, intellectual property world. But of course, the other attorneys don't necessarily have that. Now you can do patent law and not have a technical background as well, or a science background. You can do litigation. So if you're an attorney and you want to sue someone for infringing someone else's patent, or if you want to defend someone from a patent infringement, you don't necessarily need a science background for that. So you can actually practice litigation without having the science background, because then you just need to be an attorney. So what you need to have the science background for is to write patent applications and file them with the patent office.
So would you have to go to like different training to become an attorney, or could you become an attorney if you want?
Right. Yeah. So I am an attorney. So yeah. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
So how this works? So yeah, it can be a little confusing, right? In the United States, at least. So there's basically kind of two separate blocks. So you can go to law school, and you go to law school, and when you're done with law school, you take the law bar, and for example, in Texas, where we are, you'll take the Texas bar, and then you become a registered attorney in the state of Texas, and then you can be a lawyer here. Now, if you want to write patent applications and file them with the patent office, what you have to do is you have to take something called the United States Patent Office Patent Bar. So that is basically just a test, and you have to have a science background. You have to have a bachelor's in science, and if you have that bachelor's in science and you apply, you then take a test, basically on how to file patent applications and how to prosecute patents in front of the patent office. So if you do both of those two things, so if you just do that with the patent office and you don't have a law degree, you then become something called a patent agent. So you can be a patent agent and do a lot of patent drafting and working with the patent office without being a lawyer. You're a patent agent. Now, if you have a law degree and you do the same thing, you then get registered as a patent attorney. So I am the latter. So I'm a patent attorney because I went to law school, and I also have the patent bar. So because I have both, I'm a patent attorney. But I don't only have to do patent law. I can do basically any kind of law. So I could, now you still have an ethical responsibility to kind of know what you're doing, but
Well, hey, thank you for being on our podcast. It was a little short, but I think we've got a lot of information for our audience.
we can add some music to it or something.
Oh yeah.
Make it longer.
Elevators.
We'll put it in an outro.
All right. Well, yeah, this is our first episode of the Expert Edge. Thank you all for watching. This is Lars Husebo.
Thank you.